So we are talking agflation here on the Business Breakfast, joined by the soft commodities specialist, Marshall Gittler. He's the head of investment research at BDSwiss. Marshall, welcome to the Business Breakfast. It's lovely to have you.
Good morning.
Talk to us. How important are Russia and Ukraine to the world's food supply?
Oh, very, very. They are crucial. Russia is, I think, the two of them are the third largest exporter of wheat. Russia's the world's largest producer of barley. We've got potatoes. We've got chicken. We've got sunflower oil. I think that's the second largest producer of sunflower seeds. It's crucial. I mean, there's just no replacing them.
And it's more than just production being cut, isn't it? Tell us all of the ways that these commodities are affected, from people not being out in the fields to ships not being able to leave ports.
Yes. First off, the embargo is making it difficult for them to ship them. Even if they can produce it, ships won't carry it. Insurance companies won't insure it. The Black Sea, which is a lot of it comes from the Black Sea, that it's being blockaded, or no ships are able to move. And it's really worse than that because, of course, Russia is also a very large producer of fertilizer. So it's going to be hard to substitute for these as well. I think 35% of the potash and urea fertilizer comes from Russia. So it's going to cause a massive shortage of food worldwide. It's really a disaster.
Before we dig into the different foods that are affected, talk to me about fertilizer. It's not something we think about, potash, as you say, but it does come from gas. Why is this so crucial?
Well, yes, without fertilizer, modern farming just doesn't work, especially in countries like the U.S. It's really, it's energy. Food is just another manifestation of energy, because without the fertilizer, they just can't keep producing in the same way that they have been. Oh, and by the way, 60% of the U.S. right now is under drought conditions, so that's going to take out, I think, one of the other major producers of grains right now. So it's not that this. You can't take out the third biggest producer and substitute it with production from elsewhere. And even if you could, the elsewhere is not going to be functional this year. And even if it were functional, it wouldn't have the fertilizers produce it. So there's just no substituting this for this production. And that's quite a shame, because a lot of places depend on Russian and Ukrainian wheat. Europe, for example, gets about 5% of its food imports from Ukraine. The Middle East is very dependent on Russian wheat. It's really quite a serious worldwide problem.
How much have we seen prices rise already when we're talking about things like sunflower oil, like wheat, like barley? And how high could they go?
It's staggering. Wheat. Let's take wheat as the poster boy for this. It's up 74% so far this year, and we don't even really know, because the wheat futures contract just opens every day, and it opens limit up, and trading stops. For 4 days in a row, it's just been limit up. So we really don't know where it's going to stop. And other, like corn, is up about 29-30%. We've got soybeans up 26%, milk up 22%, and that's just this year. That's just in 2 months. So we have no idea what will happen when the shortage starts to hit, because a lot of countries have reserves. Then once those run out, what happens? We could see prices doubling for some of these things, wheat especially.
What are the big buyers doing to cope with this? I mean, if you're worried about the supply of sunflower oil, presumably you're looking at other edible oils. You're looking at palm oil, canola oil, with knock-on effects there too.
Yes, you're right. Palm oil has gone soaring as well. Malaysia is going to do very well out of this, but can they produce enough to make up for the shortage? It just isn't there. There is no surplus. There isn't enough of a surplus that they can substitute one for the other. Eventually, you run out of palm oil.
So what does this mean for inflation, and what does it mean on a global basis, Marshall?
It's very serious for inflation. Even in the developed countries like the U.S. and the EU, food has a much higher weighting in the consumer price index than, say, energy does. Everybody's worried about the impact of energy, but food has more than double the weighting in the CPI. It means inflation is just going to go skyrocketing. This is not demand for food is inelastic. People have to eat. So they're just going to keep bidding up the price until somebody can't eat and they can eat. That's going to be very, very bad, very dangerous.
And globalization, of course, fuels this as well. I mean, you might think, okay, well, I don't actually buy Ukrainian flour, so I'm not buying Ukrainian wheat. But effectively, we're buying the supply chain, aren't we?
Yes, that if people can't buy Ukrainian wheat, they're going to try to buy American wheat or Argentinian wheat or something. And then the people who have traditionally bought that wheat will have to pay more of it. It's a global market, and the price is basically the same no matter where you're buying it from, because people will shift around where they buy it from if they can't get it. So just because you don't buy it, just because you've always bought Argentinian wheat, and Argentina happens to be the one place this year that has actually a bumper crop, that doesn't mean that you're going to be okay, and the people who buy Ukrainian wheat are going to suffer, because the price of Argentinian wheat's just going to go skyrocketing instead.
30 seconds left with you. What does it mean for global growth, Marshall?
It's very bad. It's like as if taxes rose. Just the money that people used to spend buying iPhones or going on vacation or something will now go to feeding their families or buying gasoline. It's a tax on global growth, and everybody will be the poorer for it.
Marshall Gittler is the head of investment research at BDSwiss, speaking to us this morning about agflation after those dire warnings coming out from Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the IMF, talking about price shocks as a result of the crisis in Ukraine.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.